Hey guys, what's going on? This is Derek. Welcome to episode 26 of my 30-day Facebook Live challenge. Today was a busy day. Like I said yesterday, I guess this month we ended up selling our house, and Tuesday we closed on it for sure. So we had, and some of you are confused, like, wait, are you moving out of your office and everything like that? Long story. So back in the day, like a year and a half, 2 years ago, I took a job that moved our whole family to another town about 2 hours away from where we are at now. And so because we weren't sure if that was going to work out, what was going on with that, we ended up renting out our house. Well, long story short, we ended up moving back into town here. So we're renting a house now, but we sold our other property. So if that was kind of confusing as far as all that goes, that's what's going on. So we had just a few more things down on the property. We had a shed full of like tools and just random yard stuff we had to deal with. So was outside all day long taking care of that. And, I was thinking about today's live and what I want to talk about. And I've got a couple books I want to share with you guys, but I think the overarching theme for me for this month is just the word discipline. And I've got this cool book called Discipline Equals Freedom by, is it Jocko, Willink? There we go. Well, there it is. Okay. So really, really cool book. And the reason the word discipline comes to mind is for me, doing this Facebook Live for 30 days in a row is something that, it's only 30 days on the one hand, but there's been days like today when it would have been so much easier just to like cash out, go to bed, or even last night, or, this weekend we've got stuff going on and getting ready for a big event next week for work. So there's just a lot in my life going on. And so discipline is one of those things where I don't always have it, but looking back over the last 10, 12 years of my life, it's one of the common threads that has probably made me more successful than some of the other graphic designers I know. And I think a lot of it just comes to the daily grind and the daily doing, the little things that will set you apart from everybody else. So I just want to read this real quick, something that kind of spoke out to me. And this is kind of what the whole book looks like this. It's pretty cool. I don't know if you can see this, but so it says, people look for the shortcut, the hack. And if you came here looking for that, you won't find it. The shortcut is a lie. The hack doesn't get you there. And if you want to take the easy road, it won't take you to where you want to be. Stronger, smarter, faster, healthier, better, and free. To reach goals and overcome obstacles and become the best version of you will not happen by itself. It will not happen cutting corners, taking shortcuts, or looking for the easy way out. There is no easy way. There is only hard work, late nights, early mornings, practice, rehearsal, repetition, study, sweat, blood, toil, frustration, and discipline. There must be discipline. This is discipline, the root of all good qualities, the driver of daily execution, the core principle that overcomes laziness and lethargy, I can't even say the word, and excuses. Discipline defeats the infinite excuses that say, not today, not now, I need a rest, I'll do it tomorrow. And that key line is something I was reading earlier, and I was like, oh my goodness, like that just kind of spoke to me because, so many times I'll be like, oh, I'll just do it tomorrow. And I remember one of my worst college semesters was the one that actually should have been my easiest. I only had like 12 credits that year or that semester. And I thought it was going to be a breeze. And what happened was I'd have stuff due for class and I'd be like, oh, well, it's not due till tomorrow, the next day. So today I'll go, go to the beach or go do anything else other than my studies. And what happened eventually, like the next day would come and sure enough, something else would come up and I wouldn't get my homework done in time. Whereas the college semesters where I have like 18 or 21 credits or whatever were my best because I was so busy that I had to stay focused and disciplined and get the things done. No matter if I felt like it or not, I might be like, okay, well, I don't feel like it, but this is literally the only hour I have to do this. And that kind of was how it went down with the, clearing out our property today too. It was like, okay, I borrowed a trailer and I only had it for 3 hours. So it was like, okay, like however it gets done, it has to get done right now. And so what happened, what would happen a lot of times for me, I don't know if I'd say perfectionist, but I'm just very attentive to details and I'm always looking for like the easiest way to pull something off. And so I'll spend hours thinking of ways to do things when it should just take 10 minutes just to get the stupid thing done. And so you know, a lot of times, like for packing the trailer, I would have like played Tetris and get everything in there just right and kind of made it all, you know, good to go. But what we ended up doing is literally just hucking it all into the back, closing it up and getting it out of there, dumping it in our backyard at where we're at now, and then sorting it so I could return the trailer. So, and I just thought about that and how much faster, I mean, maybe not pretty, but done is better than perfect. And so I think about that in regards to, you know, your workflow as a graphic designer, where it's so easy to get lost in trying different things or designing different things, or just kind of the endless revision, the endless cycle, especially if it's a client who doesn't really have a deadline and they're just kind of paying you, and they think by giving you more time that you could be more creative or get it done for less because they're not pressuring you. But the problem is, if you have more time to do something, you're going to take all of that time to do something and end up losing money on the project because you're going to take so much longer. So just kind of reeling all this back into the theme for tonight, I guess, would be discipline and staying focused and forcing those parameters on yourself, even if there isn't truly a deadline, or even if, you know, you've got all the next few days open. Get it done today. Do the thing today so you can enjoy those next days to come. So for me, for example, perfect examples, I've got work to do this weekend, and I probably wouldn't have had work to do this weekend had I not cut out a little early on Friday to go to the beach. So it's kind of one of those like give and takes. But I think, you know, overall, if I had to sum it up, I would say the days when I do the little things consistently, day after day, and know I'm on the right track, those are always my most successful days. And I feel good about the day, like I've actually achieved what I've set out to. So I hope that helps somebody. A couple other books that I'm looking at tonight that were kind of fun. This one's random. This one's called Unboard. Let's see. The Essential Field Guide to Serious Fun. It's kind of random, but it was a gift, and I'm having a ton of fun reading it. It's got all kinds of everything from like science projects to like ways to go camping to, I don't even know, like just kind of random maker kind of stuff. Pretty fun. And then this other book, Tribe of Mentors by Tim Ferriss, is also a really good book I'm reading right now. This one's awesome because it basically has, I think it was like 200 different people. If I read off all the names, you'd recognize these people, but people who are playing at the best level of their game, you know, in their career field. And he goes through and he asks them questions and they kind of answer it. So it's basically just like reading how would these, you know, super successful people respond to different situations. So really cool book. What's up, Dustin? Thanks for joining. What did I minor in? Okay, so I almost was a double major. I had I went to a 4-year college, went to Whitworth University. So I had BS in art, and then I minored in, I had an art history. I was like 1 credit away from an art history minor, and then a business minor. And so the business minor was actually really helpful, and actually probably another reason why my wife and I have been a little more successful on the graphic design side of things, because just kind of having an understanding of business and getting things in order, like your taxes, like your invoices, and all the business side of running a business. So yeah, so BS in graphic design, which I think is funny to say, and then art history minor and art or business minor. I'm losing my mind again. What else? Actually, when I went to college, I thought I was gonna play baseball. Honestly, that's all I thought I was gonna do, is just play baseball. Didn't know what I wanted to go for, so I was going to do marketing, because I thought marketing was actually the graphic design side of things. And so it was funny when I kind of discovered it had nothing to do with that. So that was kind of a wake-up call when I switched my majors from business and marketing and switched to an art major. So marketing, graphic communications, yeah. So I kind of wish I would have stayed with some of that marketing a little bit, but the business side of it and the graphic design part of it was definitely super helpful for where I'm at with my side of things. Hey, what's up? Pushcart, did I say your name right? I hope so. Great to catch me on live. I know, I'm actually kind of surprised, and I'm wondering if, so right now I'm going live on my phone. I don't have any microphones or anything, just turned it on and sat down and fired it up. When I go live from my laptop, I'm wondering if Facebook's algorithms kind of don't notify everybody, because I feel like, you know, granted, there's only a couple people on the live right now, but there have been more. And I feel like when I'm on my laptop going live kind of through the app, I don't get as many people live right away. Granted, sometimes it's at like midnight, so obviously that contributes to it as well. What Dustin says, when you buy an external hard drive, would you say for a brand, what was that? Would you say for a brand going with? I'm assuming you meant like, what kind of brand would I suggest? You know, I've got a little bit of everything as I look back there on my shelf. I tend to have a lot of Western Digital drives currently. I wouldn't necessarily recommend them over anything else. What is this one right here? Let me see. This is a Seagate. I feel like I've had a couple, is it Samsung? Let me look at this drive real quick. Oh, that drive's never going to be the same. Oh well. So this LaCie or Lacey, however you want to say it, the rugged drives, these are actually pretty good. I know a lot of photographers recommend them because they can throw them in their bag and kind of, you know, beat them up a little bit. This one, what is this one even? I don't even know. Western Digital, My Passport. So what is that, Western Digital? Yeah. I have a lot of Western Digital, a couple Seagate. What is this guy? This one is a Hitachi drive, and I feel like that one failed on me. So something else I used to do too with my drives. So let me grab those real quick. All right, so I use, if you go to macsales.com, MICSALES.com, I think is where it's at. You can buy these drives and you can buy them in different, whether it's FireWire or USB 3 or USB-C or whatever. And it's just a clear enclosure. And so you pop a couple screws out here, and this part comes out, and the drive, the sled basically comes out, and then you can unscrew the drive from there. So there's little, in every hard drive, there's like 4 little, you can kind of see right there, spots where you can unscrew it. So why am I telling you all this? Okay, so if you were to go buy, like if you start chewing through a lot of media and you actually go buy a hard drive that has the enclosure and the cable and everything, obviously it costs you a lot more money because you're paying for all that extra stuff. But if you just go buy one of these drives, they're significantly less expensive. So, and this was obviously prior to Apple actually hard wiring or soldering in the circuitry to actually, you know, they actually, if you look at them now, they're all basically built into the computer for a couple reasons. One is it's slimmer, significantly slimmer, but I think from a sales ploy, you can't really update your stuff as long. Just to put that in perspective, my wife still uses my old laptop from 2009, my first MacBook Pro, or 2008, whatever. And we've been able to kind of update it as far as we could, bigger hard drives, more RAM, all that kind of stuff. Well, now you can't really do that. Like once it gets dated, it's a paperweight at that point. So anyway, all of that to say, so I have a lot of drives like this, the laptop size drives, because I would upgrade my hard drives and then I'd save the drive and put them in these guys to still access them. Or just put these in put them in storage and then swap them out into this so I could keep going. So anyway, and I think I mentioned a while back, I'm going to get a Drobo system. Drobo, D-R-O-B-O. I don't know which one yet. Probably the 5, I think there's like a 5-bay. Anyway, what it does is it sticks 5 different hard drives in there and syncs them all up together so you're less likely to lose your work. And gives you obviously significantly more space. So I'm probably going to go from this nonsense to a Drobo here sooner than later, probably in the next, I don't know, probably a month or so. Not really a priority right now, but it will be soon. As far as powered or non-powered, honestly, something like this, so this is a Seagate, I think it's a 1 or 2 terabyte drive, slim, super slim, no power, just powered by the USB. It's obviously the way to go. It's really light, small footprint, or even an SSD drive, they're even smaller than this, or about half the size. Throw it in your bag, don't have to worry about anything else but your USB cable. As far as powered goes, you know, some of the older drives, as far as if it's not an SSD drive, depending on if they spin, if they're, the 7200 RPM or the 5400 RPM or whatever it is, obviously the faster it spins, it can read and write to the drive, it being the computer, can read and write faster. So if you're working on video or, you know, graphics through Photoshop or photography, it will be able to keep up faster. What I usually do though is I work off the desktop whenever possible. So if I'm doing all my media, I'll bring everything I need if possible. Sometimes it's not possible. For example, if I'm referencing old drone footage, that's, you know, gigs and gigs of space because it's in 4K, I'll leave that on an external drive. But whenever possible, I'll bring my files I'm working with onto my desktop, because then I don't have to sit there and be tethered to anything. Plus it'll work faster if it's not trying, basically if you're using your computer and you're going through a USB cable, it's still fairly fast. USB 3 is fairly fast, but not as fast as what's actually wired into your computer. So I usually use the drives just for external storage, do my work, and then bounce them back over to the drive when I'm done. So that's my workflow as far as powered or unpowered. I do have, oh my gosh, throwing my drives all over the place. This drive is dead, so I put a little sad face, so I know this one's dead. Anyway, so this would be an example of a huge 7,200 RPM, 2 or 4 terabyte. What is this? This was actually only 1 terabyte, but it's got this powered port there. So I have to plug this drive into a power outlet somewhere before I can even turn it on. So that's one more way to be tethered. And if you're working off of like an iMac or I don't know, a desktop computer or something where it's always sitting at your desk, it really doesn't matter. It's not a big deal. But for me, I work so mobile, like I'm not gonna throw that in my backpack. So the least amount of cables and wires and things I have to worry about, the better off for my workflow, for sure. So anybody else have any questions? It's been kind of fun interacting with questions tonight. Pushkar, thanks. Appreciate the comment. He says, love the tips and tricks. Great to see how the Real Pro works. Yeah, well, how the setup is, books I read, the tools I use, workflow. Anyway, yeah, appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun to do. I would show you the rest of the space. It's kind of a mess right now, so this is the cleanest version of what we have going on. It's been kind of a lot of transition for me. I had a studio set up in a different spot that was predominantly like where I got my work done, but now that I'm kind of shifting into doing more videos, I've had to think about my sound. I've had to think about where my kids are at. So where can I record if they're awake without them like running in and, not ruining it, because they're obviously, I love their guest appearances, but more so like, how can I get this done without all those kinds of interruptions? So we've kind of shifted different spaces, and I've got stuff everywhere. Plus with the move, like I mentioned, I've got stuff in boxes. I'm a little bit disheveled right now, so I'm really excited to get things dialed in and kind of back to some sort of routine and rhythm. Wacom tablet. Also have one of those. I use the medium, the Pro. Let's see. So this guy, pretty good size. Let's see. Where's my laptop? I don't know where my laptop is. I think it's downstairs. I got nothing to measure it with either. Well, it's this big, medium size. You can probably look it up online. And it comes with a little, so on the side here, I can pop out this guy. So it's a little USB connector. So that way it goes wireless to my laptop, which is pretty sweet. And then when it needs to be charged, it has a USB cable, or if it's dead, I can just leave it plugged in. I really like it, but I find myself not using it nearly as much as I would have expected. This one doesn't have the display on it. That'd be sweet, but it's not the Cintiq or whatever they call it. For me, so where I find myself using this the most is if I'm doing photo edits, especially if I'm doing like corrective stuff where I'm fixing blemishes or I'm cutting somebody out. Actually, with cutouts, I prefer a mouse. The Magic Mouse is what I use, and the pen tool. That's how I do all my clipping paths. I usually use the Wacom tablet when I need pressure sensitivity with brushes. So let's say I'm doing an effect like maybe painting, how am I trying to use my words? Painting with light and dark, so adding shadows or highlights to kind of add more artistic touches to things, or, gosh, I can't think of how to say what I'm using it for. Anyway, the point is, with this tablet, I can push just a little bit, and it'll be more opaque or more transparent, and then the harder I push, the more opaque it'll be. So that way, it really lets me refine how I'm working with photos. Predominantly, photos is how I use this thing. As far as is it worth it, it depends on what your workflow is. If you're a traditional artist and you're used to using your hands, like, yeah, definitely get one of these. It'll be something that will help you. And I think I don't remember what episode it was, but I played a tutorial. It was like how to make a logo with a Sharpie or something. And I showed how to do something, how to draw it, take a picture, bring it into Illustrator and work with it. So if you're getting a Wacom tablet just for the sake of illustration, like I would almost say just illustrate on paper and take pictures and scan it into your computer. If you're getting it for, in my cases, I do a lot of retouching. And so the pen part works great. And then you can flip it over. Oh man. There we go. And that immediately will go from the brush tool to the eraser tool without actually having to jump over to your menu system to do it. If you're going to get a tablet, I recommend one that has all the buttons down the side. I do have a couple other tablets downstairs, and they don't have that, and I kind of miss that functionality. And then the other thing that's cool too, which they don't think they really say, where did I put that? So it comes with this little base. And if you unscrew it, this base, basically you can perch your pen on it or whatever, so it can sit on your tablet without interfering with your computer. Anyway, it's got all the little nibs or tips or whatever you want to call it. So I've got different style of tips that you just basically pull it out of the tip of the pen. Let's see here. So inside here, so this is inside the base for the Wacom tablet pen holder. There's that ring in the middle. So you can pop that ring out. And I don't know if the camera will focus on it this close, but it's basically just so you can grab your tip of the pen and pull it out. So the tip I have in there now has got a little spring in the middle of it. And it just makes it feel a little more real, a little more response when I'm actually using it on the tablet. So I don't know if I'd call it a pro tip as much as just how I use it. And black or rich black. Okay, so I think by default, Illustrator. So for those of you who aren't sure, so Dustin asks, do I use true black or rich black with my colors mixed? So for those of you who haven't learned about this yet, and you might have experienced this when you go to print something and it's like, oh, it doesn't print. And you're like, well, I'm just printing some black, but there's no cyan. Why is it still not printing? Well, if we print with just 100% black ink and no other colors, it's actually more faded. If you're actually to print it out and look at it, it's more of a really, really dark gray. Whereas a rich black, we mix a little bit of the colors. So my rich black formula that I use is 60, 40, 40, 100. So 60% cyan, 40% magenta, 40% yellow, and 100% black. So when all those inks mix, you get a really rich, dark black. Well, not all new designers are aware of that. And so Illustrator or Adobe or whatever you want to say has made it so by default, I think it's default, your colors will show as rich black on your screen and they'll actually print as rich black whether you intended for that to happen or not. And it's to save you because most people want it to be rich black but don't think to mix the inks like that to get it to work. So for me, because I do want full control of how my artwork displays and I am aware of the rich black, you can go into your preferences. I think in Illustrator, Photoshop might even have it too, but I know it's in Illustrator. You go into preferences, go into like color management or rich black, and there's like a little checkbox where it says, I forget what it says, but basically you can turn that on and off so that way you have full control of how it looks. What ways do you use to take backups of your data on cloud? Sorry, we've already covered. No worries. So Pushkar asks, like, what ways do I use to backup of my data? So I do actually talk about that, and it actually wasn't very many episodes ago, maybe like 4 episodes ago. And one of the things I say is it's not if you lose a hard drive, it's when you lose a hard drive. So usually when I buy my hard drives, I buy them in pairs. So I'll buy, let's see, like here was a pair, right? I bought these two together at one point, same matching drives. And then I had bought these two at some point, matching drives, right? And that way I always have data on one and cloned to the other. And I use Carbon Copy Cloner to make a bit-by-bit exact clone. And I think it's like, I don't know, it's not, you have to buy it, but it's not that expensive. Check that out, or if somebody can comment below and reply to Pushkar's comment about that episode, or maybe I can do it later. As far as my workflow, so what I do now is I have the business Dropbox plan or whatever it is, and I sync as much as I can to my laptop, but my laptop drive is only like 500 gigs, so I chew through that pretty fast with all the video stuff I do. So I keep my most current project files there, and that way it's kind of and I pay, I think, like an extra $3 a month or whatever it is to have almost like Time Machine, if you guys have used a Mac, where it timestamps any changes to your files. So if I need to go back to multiple versions, I can go back in time to retrieve those. Knock on wood, don't even want to say it, but I haven't had to use that feature yet, but thanks for making me say it, because now I'm gonna have to. So I save all my stuff locally on my computer, sync it to Dropbox, and when I need to move it off of there for space, I'll either uncheck it. See, the thing is, I don't want to keep it all just in Dropbox. I like to keep it physically like accessible on a drive somewhere. So if, I don't know, somehow I didn't have access to the internet, I still have it on the drive. But also what's nice, like I mentioned that last one, is if anything were to happen, let's say I lost all my stuff, I could walk into a Mac store or anywhere that had an Apple, or borrow a friend's computer, sign into all my cloud accounts, and have the Creative Suite going, have all my files accessible, and I'd be off and running. So at that point, the computers and all the technology and the cameras and stuff really are just a tool that I could replace anywhere. All the intellectual property, all the files I work on, and all the stuff that's been in my mind that I've created, you know, that is something that you can't replace. So you've got to keep it backed up. So that's why I keep all my drives and Dropbox and all kind of stuff. If I was doing this 1 degree further or better, I would have these drives, and I did this for a while, but lately life has just been crazy, and so I've kind of fallen out of my good habits. But I used to keep one at my office downtown. We had an office downtown, and then one at the house. And sometimes I'll take one to the work office where I work now, but at the other property I had a safe, and so I put one in a safe, and then I put one offsite somewhere else. Now what I'm considering, and I don't remember who told me about this, but you can get a safe deposit box at a bank, and they're actually fairly inexpensive. Like, don't quote me on this, but like $30 to $60 a year. I don't know. They're not nearly as much as you would expect them to be. And so that would be another good alternative. If you don't want to buy a safe for a couple $1,000s, you could just go buy a safe deposit box at a bank and then take your drives there too. And that way you always have your files accessible. Dustin asks, when you're doing a portfolio, when you're doing a portfolio, would you say to show a mock-up on blank shirt or do it on a model? Okay. I think probably, so for those who don't know, Dustin, I know you do a lot of the apparel stuff, but so he's asking, would you show, if I was going to show a design for a portfolio, would I have a model, would I have it actually on somebody wearing the shirt, and then me maybe photoshopping the design over it, or maybe it's a real shirt and they're wearing it, versus having it be, whether it's laid on the floor or cut out, or like an artistic drawing of a shirt with your artwork on it. So I think that is a subjective choice that you can make. Not that it doesn't matter. A couple things I would consider is just making sure it's consistent. So if you're gonna do it, pick a way and make all of your pieces kind of match and relatively the same size, versus having a mix and match of both. I would also say if you put your shirts on people, it can be more distracting. Kind of like in a few episodes back, I talk about lorem ipsum. It's a type of filler text. So when you make a design and you throw a bunch of text in there, the first thing your client's going to want to do is trying to read the text. When you're like, no, I just want you to look. Do you like the font? Do you like the layout? Do you like how it looks? So we put dummy text in there so they can't really read it. It's in another language. And then that way it looks right. Like they can see how it's going to look when it's done, but they're not distracted by what it actually says. Same thing with your shirt question, as far as like being on a model or just mocked up blank. I would tend to say being on a model might be a little distracting, but then again, 1 degree further from that, let's take it one step further, versus the standard like shirt pose you see somebody wearing. If it was more of a lifestyle shot, let's say it's actually a picture of a model in your apparel in a setting, not just cut out on white, it makes it feel even more real and tangible, like it's a real piece that's actually been produced and not photoshopped. And sometimes when you're going to get a job, they appreciate the fact that you've actually produced something and can show, think of a example. I don't have one with me. So I've done a lot of magazine ads, a lot of cover ads, photography. I've done full magazine designs. And so rather than walking in with a printout piece of paper of a picture of it, I just show the magazine and I say, yeah, I did all this, or yeah, I did this ad on this page. And that speaks so much higher than just a mocked up version for my portfolio, because they can see not only did I make something that looked good, but I knew how to get it into production from beginning to end, from being on the computer all the way into being used in production. So I hope that answers your question. No, I wish. Okay, so that everything in life that matters requires risk poster. I love this thing. Can you see it better? Let me get out of the way. Ta-da! I love that thing. Okay, so where did I see that? I'm gonna have to really think about that. It was like a, gosh, where did I get that? Design versus Cancer, I think is where I got that. Designversuscancer.com or something like that. And all the charity and proceeds went to some sort of cancer benefit, I think. And I wish I knew the illustrator that did it, but super cool. It's screen printed on black paper. So anyway. Well, hey guys, thank you. This was fun. I enjoyed getting real questions during the live. I think I talked to some of the students after the fact, and it seems like it's funny because I feel like I'm just a normal guy, but some of them were kind of intimidated to ask questions, which I think is not funny, but I love the fact that you guys were asking questions tonight. So for those of you watching the replay, next time you see me go live, definitely jump in, ask me questions, and if I can answer them, I will. So I appreciate you guys and your time. Thanks for tuning in. It's been a ton of fun. We've got, 4 more episodes, I think. If today's 26, if I did my math right. Yeah. So we're down to the end of the series, but I'll definitely be doing a lot more of these. I really enjoyed them, and I'll probably make them a little more planned out with some themes and topics, and then we'll do the Q&A and stuff. So that's about what I've got for the night. So thanks again for tuning in. You guys can follow me on Instagram at dmitchelldesign. Check out that new YouTube channel, subscribe, and then hit the little bell so you can be notified when I put up new videos and tutorials coming soon. And Dustin says, if anyone wants to learn about clothing, they can hit me up. Also, I don't know what it says because it's cutting it off, but whatever. Guys, thanks again for tuning in, and we will see you tomorrow.